So I have to congratulate you. 300th episode of Family Guy is coming up.
Yes, that is
That's
correct.
incredible.
Yeah.
Now what is harder, when you think back to yourself as a child, what is harder to conceive? That you do a cartoon that would last 300 episodes, or that you would be nominated for a Grammy in the same category as Bob Dylan? Because that happened for you.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure I graduated high school, so I'm like,
Yeah.
this is great. This is great.
Are you still not sure if you graduated high school?
We'll find. I'll get back to you.
Yeah. But this is, so your album, you sing standards, and you're nominated against Bob Dylan, which is really trippy.
Yeah, that's just slightly intimidating and,
Yeah.
and could be a problem.
Have you guys, you try not to get into a trash talk situation with him,
No.
because I feel,
No.
You would not want that. So this is standards. How do you select the standards that you're going to sing on each album?
I try to find stuff that isn't too heavily overdone. I kind of dig through old Broadway cast albums or old songbooks, and just try to find stuff that is just completely forgotten, so you can kind of make it new again.
And what are you singing for us tonight?
This is Almost Like Being in Love. From,
Okay, fantastic.
From Brigadoon, yeah.
So that's, you also, I had just assumed, and this is ignorant on my part, that people who can sing are so great at singing that they don't need to work on it. But you actually went and trained with the same group of people that trained Frank Sinatra.
They worked with Sinatra. They worked with Streisand. They've actually trained a lot of singers over the years, and they were both in their 90s when I started working with them.
Is it a family business?
It was a husband and wife that did this for decades, and they both since passed away. But they taught you how to do it without help.
And what? So when you go into practicing with these two 90-year-olds, is there anything they told you that you remember, like that was helpful?
They claimed they were still having sex. I remember that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they said, look, if you're ever trying to find the emotional place for your songs, just remember that there are there are 90-year-olds who are still going at it.
Exactly. There's no excuse.
Is it true that you're supposed to show your teeth? Is that something?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, so now I'd not known that. So explain what's behind that.
That was what they always taught me, is that when you sing, show your teeth.
Well,
as crazy as that sounds, because it brightens the sound, and basically all these tricks are things like if you're singing live or if there's no post-production help, you should be able to sound good, and that's kind of the way they work.
Do you think they just at 90 had such an appreciation for teeth that they were like, if I have any regret, I would have shown him more. I would have gotten him out there more before it was too late. So I also want to congratulate you, season 2 of the Orville next year. So that's really exciting to get picked up. Congratulations on that as well.
Thank you.
And so obviously you are, you have the Orville, you did Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson. You are a lover of space.
Yes.
I want to ask you this hypothetical, because it seems like we're getting closer and closer to people taking recreational trips to space. Would you want to do that?
I would not.
You don't?
At least I wouldn't want to be among the first group.
Gotcha.
I'd want to make sure everything still works, make sure everything's fine, everything's in order, and then maybe I'll go up. I'll be like in the fifth.
So gotcha. Yeah, I guess that's true. I feel like the most expensive tickets to space will be like 5 and 6.
Yeah.
I feel like they'll have to discount the first 2 trips to space.
You don't want to be the guinea pig.
Yeah. Because I guess the nice thing, because you, with your show, that's a very controlled space because you are just doing it on a soundstage.
Yeah, it's much better.
How has it been trying to create a serialized show that takes place in space? Have you found it a different challenge than Family Guy in the writing?
It's nice because there's shockingly little comedy.
Well, I see. Whereas Family Guy, you could argue, is more packed with jokes than anything on television.
And it's kind of thing like I've been doing comedy my whole career, and this I'm a big sci-fi fan, and the thought of doing something that is that's so far removed from that was terrifying and thrilling at the same time, and I've loved it. I've loved every second of it.
Great. So I want to ask about Neil deGrasse Tyson. There is an asteroid that is named after you. He tweeted this. I guess it's asteroid 70713. Seth MacFarlane orbits the sun between Mars and Jupiter. No chance of hitting Earth.
That is my given name is 707.
70. And so how did that come about? How do you get an asteroid named after yourself?
I think it was because of Cosmos.
Oh, okay,
I think he kind of pulled a couple of his strings and said, hey.
Like that's basically, if you want to get an asteroid named after you, cozy up to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Apparently so.
I mean, I knew he knew a lot of that stuff. I didn't think they called him up and were like, hey, man, we're looking for a name. But I guess.
The politics of asteroids is something that I can't help you.
And I've got to be honest, I don't think I'm ever going to learn. I'm just going to
No,
going to let that take its course.
It almost never comes up at parties.
So it came out this week, and I want to get your take on this as well, because you're now living in this world of sci-fi, that in 2007, the Pentagon basically put aside some I don't know if it's called dark money or black money, like where they basically have been checking out UFOs since 2007. Like this is money in the budget. Do you think that UFOs maybe exist?
Well, from what I have read and what, in talking to Neil, that what they were looking for was not necessarily, nobody gives a about aliens there.
Yeah.
They're looking for things that might possibly be, provide bits of intelligence from other countries, I guess. I think the UFO enthusiasts sort of got a hold of that and said, oh, they're looking for UFOs, but
yeah.
But I think it's personally, I think it's highly likely there's alien life. I think it's highly unlikely that we've been visited. I think if we spent more time listening for signals and less time, looking for evidence that they've come here, I think we're probably better served.
Interesting. So you're saying put the money into just like surveillance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to outer space.
Listen to outer space. Like send out some like bugs.
Or that. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Look, I feel like they got to give us this money and we can figure this out, because I would love to get to the bottom of it. Thank you so much for sticking around and singing a song.
My pleasure, always.
Always a pleasure to see you. Seth MacFarlane, everybody.